Well, hey, cruising on like it's virtually the weekend. I know I say this every Thursday night, but it's how I feel. It's Thursday night, which is virtually Friday, which may as well be the weekend. So, woo! And yeah, so let's be party people. I don't know, not that full on. I am gonna, I do have work tomorrow, and I'm actually meant to have a face-to-face social meetup with work people tomorrow afternoon. I probably won't be late for the stream. Might be, but probably won't be. With the Friday night party. But I'll already have one or two drinks in me. But then I've got a little public transport to get home because I'm not fucking driving. I'm certainly not driving in the city if I'm having drinks. So, got to meet some people in the city, have some drinks. First time I've seen these people face to face. That's not strictly speaking true. Some of my direct team had a little Christmas get together barbecue at team leader's place. So I did see some of these people a couple months ago. So it was about 3 months ago, I guess. Wow, time fucking flies, doesn't it? That's my stunning insight. Again, at this early stage of the stream before many, if any, people join it. So the only people who get these pieces of wisdom, these priceless pearls of insight, is anyone who watches this back later. So you're welcome. Secret personal knowledge just for you. Time flies. It's remarkable. That's why. But it's like you look back, everything goes so fast. But waiting for something in the future, that seems to stretch on. Like for fucking ever. Braylon, your insomnia loves the streams. I do get a few Insomniac Northern Hemisphere people in the streams. And also hello to Shieldsy and Musical Aviator. Going to a LARP tomorrow, live action roleplay. Tired and unfit, just thinking about it. I guess depends what you have to do at the LARP. LARP isn't like always strenuous. But if you're expected to battle, that's fairly strenuous. Not something I would be fully into myself. The combat stuff. Choking on Ashes. Hello, how are you? And Chris, speaking of insomniac Americans, hello. Cruising on by. So, freaking March is running away from us. First quarter of the year is going to be past us very soon. And hello, Megaleech and Byron and anyone who's not talking. Sometimes people just like to sit and watch and they don't necessarily jump into the chat. And that's fine. That's fine. So if you're watching, or maybe you're watching it back later, hello to you too. Okay? I'm just going to say that. And nice, Braylon. Got the stimmy. $1,400. Nice. Just turned out I didn't need any. I had a job all through, everything shutting down, and worked from home. Choking on Ashes, 9:04 a.m. in the UK. Okay, so that's not an outlandish hour for you. Musical Aviator, when you went to Sydney, went to the Sydney Opera's production of Bluebeard, think Dracula but opera, changed the staging to make the women break out and kill Bluebeard instead of die. Yeah, fun. Ooh, Shieldsy, you're a bit late, been watching Disney Plus, resub to it today. Braylon, getting laid off, man, it fucking sucks. I mean, doing stuff to protect our health is important, but there's no fucking denying that a lot of people are copping it hard financially in this fucking pandemic as well. I say we grab the rich by the ankles and hold them upside down and shake them till the money falls out, and we take all that money. That's the least violent solution I can come up with, holding them upside down and shaking them till money falls out. I have other options that political correctness gone mad are regarded as serious crimes in a lot of jurisdictions, so I won't go into them. Chris got your stimmy as well. You're also exposed to COVID from asset delivery people refusing to wear masks. Let's hope you don't get sick. I hope you don't get sick as well, mate. Check on Ashes. You agree? Yeah. Also, Shieldsy, what were you watching on Disney Plus if you suddenly rejoined? There's a few eminently watchable things on there, and now they added that channel, which I've forgotten, but it has a lot of movies and TV shows on it that are very un-Disney. There's even more to watch on there. I watched the opening, rewatched the opening 20 minutes of Iron Man the other day because I really enjoy that. Tony Stark being a colossal dick and then getting hit by his own armaments. Chris, you're doing isolation. Oh, God, 3 weeks out from your own vaccination. You got exposed by some dickhead. Well, here's hoping you end up with the all clear anyway, because I know you've got some complications that could make it a potential real bad deal for you. I mean, my complication is I'm old and fat. So I'm very glad to have not been exposed to it because I could do without that stress. I mean, during COVID, I had my cancer scare, which was a false positive on a screening test, but I had probes and it was all. But the lead up to the probes to getting the all clear, Jesus, I was fucking freaking out. Oh, yes, Braylon, I did that not long ago too. Watched the opening of The Dark Knight, Joker's bank robbery. Yes. Although I like pretty much all of The Dark Knight. When the Joker first goes to the mobsters and someone's coming for him and he's going like, "Want to see a magic trick? Watch me make this pencil disappear." It shows you nothing graphic, but it's absolutely horrific the way he drives it through the guy's eye socket. Jesus. Megaleech watched all 3 with the youngest this week. Nice. And Ashoka, vaccination is going to make super strong viruses. Well, fun doomsaying, brother. That isn't actually how that works. Vaccinations being in constant circulation leads to mutations, some of which are no more dangerous than other versions, some of which are less dangerous, some of which can be more dangerous. But that's why we get the different cocktail in the flu vaccination every year, because the viruses that are in circulation mutate and change. And so the flu vax gets changed to match it. Hellion, hello, Kirsten. Choking on Ashes, had your first vaccine. Nice. Megaleech, your youngest is 18. My youngest is about to turn 20. Well, it's still more than a month away, but my youngest turns 21 this year. Mrs. Angry's lad is 18. So, Ashoka, the South African variant's got nothing to do with vaccines. It's just these viruses, when they circulate, they mutate. Yeah, Byron, good call. The normal flu is like the 1918 flu after going through 100 mutations and humans adapting to it. Braylon, you're 21? Excellent, man. That's right. You told me that before when you were talking about moving in with your girlfriend. Which is probably when I first did too. When I was at college, I was either 20 or 21. That was at college, which I think is slightly different to not being at college. But Chris, the only serious variant vaccines can't stop is the Brazilian one. Yeah, apparently even the ones that what we know so far about some of the more dangerous variants, that a vaccine may not stop you from getting it and may not stop you from getting sick, but it reduces your chances of dying to pretty much zero. Kirsten, does it count if you cover the veggie you cooked yourself with blue cheese sauce? That sounds like a meal to me. Check on the nationals. We've got kids the same age. Youngest 21, eldest 26. My very, very, very close. My oldest is 24 this year. So our offspring are very, very similar in age. Braylon, good memory. I didn't remember till you jogged my memory, mate. It's just when you said you were 21, I was like, that's right, you told me that. So yeah, it's all adults in this house now. Since Mrs. Angry's lad turned 18, 5 people who are all legal adults living in the house. Musical evidence, immunization doesn't select for resistant diseases because the disease is still free to evolve in non-vaccinated population. That's the thing. Yeah, mutations happen. And there won't be a thing we can do about that. We just got to try to adapt. Shieldsy, yeah, you wanted to watch WandaVision. I quite enjoyed WandaVision. Mrs. Angry agrees with you. I think she was too slow moving. She didn't get into it. So she stopped watching after the first 2 episodes. So Mrs. Angry agrees with you. I watched it all. Braylon, you're the oldest. That's an interesting position. I'm from a really big family. I'm one of 10 kids, and I'm the 8th. So I'm very much the younger end of the scale. Being the oldest, that's an interesting position to be in. Got a 7-year-old brother. Man, that's like a generation between the two of you. Like 7-year-old must think you're like an alien. Your 7-year-old probably doesn't see you as different to parents. Just like, no, you're not a kid. You're that man. That's an interesting one. Shieldsy, there's an animation on Disney Plus. I've said it a couple times before. It's called Solar Opposites. It's created by one of the people who created Rick and Morty, and it's got a lot of the Rick and Morty voice actors in it. It's a sci-fi one about aliens who are crash landed on Earth. I really like it. I think it's really funny. There's like 1 episode a week of that coming out. Nice, Braylon. Your bro's autistic and you take care of him together. That's really nice. It's really nice that you're in that role of looking after the young'un. Kirsten, you're the oldest and you have a 10-year younger than sister. Yeah. See, that's big. In my family, the biggest gap either side of anyone is 2 years. But of course, that means the oldest is, 15 years older than the youngest. Something like that. Catholics, man. Country town Catholics. Just keep popping them out. They didn't have a TV. I think that was my parents' problem. They didn't have a TV. Oh, no, Byron. Done with Twitter for the year. Bad for your blood pressure. Yeah. It really do be like that. I just fucking block people, man. Oshoki, you're sounding like a really weird conspiracy factory at the moment. I have not seen any evidence or even suggestion from a reputable person that COVID-19 affects people more if they have carnivorous diets. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying I haven't seen that even mentioned. You know what does it? Twitter doesn't so much do me because if someone is obnoxious on Twitter, I'll tell them they're a cunt and then I'll block them and it's done. What will get me really wound up sometimes is people being fuckheads on Facebook groups that aren't my Facebook group. And I really want to dive in and say, fuck you, but it's not my group. And I can't because that would be antisocial. And they're just there being dicks. And I hate it. Hey, Laura. Yes. And that happens occasionally. It's really funny because most people would be aware I like making cocktails, and I have a cocktail YouTube channel, and I'm on a pretty active Facebook group set up by Steve the bartender. He's an Australian. He is actually a bartender. Has had a YouTube channel for years. Is definitely the biggest cocktail channel in Australia by a long way. I think he's like one of the top 5 in the world, and his Facebook group is fairly active. And there's one guy on there in particular who's just a fucking dick and do stupid things. I mean, I ignored him when he said something on one of mine that because one of the few times in the last 12 months I've been in the bar, although you can go to bars, you've been able to go to bars for months in Australia. I just don't do it very much. So a couple months ago, first time I had a cocktail made for me by someone else in a long time. It's a Blood and Sand. And I just posted a picture. Yeah, someone made me this, a Blood and Sand. And this picture, that didn't look like a Blood and Sand. That's the wrong glass. Just like, shut the fuck up with the wrong glass, you dick. And I just ignored it, but a few other people were like, what a fucking cock. And he shits himself if people refer to Malibu as coconut rum, because it isn't coconut rum. It's a coconut liqueur with rum flavorings in it, and maybe I think a rum base, but it actually isn't rum. But people always refer to Malibu as coconut rum, and he just goes on this big pedantry kick of no. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Why do you think people care? Shieldsy, you watched Soul? Yes, I enjoyed Soul. Pixar movie you can get on Disney Plus. It's quite good. Watched the other one I didn't get to watch in the cinema, Onward. It was fun. It's not the most memorable. Soul's better than Onward. I mean, I think pick of the crop Pixar movies are ones like Toy Story 3 and Up and Ratatouille and WALL-E. What are the other really good ones? Oh, Coco. Coco's beautiful. Is there any other really good? Oh, Monsters Inc. was really good. Monsters University is one of the very average ones. All the Cars ones kind of suck. The Good Dinosaurs is kind of sucky. Thank you, Braylon. Inside Out's one of the top tier ones, definitely. Inside Out is definitely a top tier Pixar. Yes, Laura, there are some people who need to feel superior and talk down to people. And this guy, I don't think he knows because I'm also on a Discord with a bunch of other people who do cocktails on YouTube. And we just spend the whole time saying what a cockhead this guy is and coming up with plans to deliberately bait him because he's just such a fucking shithead. Like, although I ignored him when he said this thing about my Blood and Sand being in the wrong glass, but if I had any interest at all in dealing with him, I would have pointed out the bar. I get this. Not only is this bar one of the most highly regarded in Melbourne, the guy who runs it has been running his own venues for 30 fucking years is one of the most widely respected people for just creating really unique drinking experiences with his cocktails. And the last thing he would give a shit about is some pedantic little cockhead on the internet going, "That's in the wrong glass." No, fuck off. Honestly. Mind you, don't get me started on vodka. So vodka's bullshit, is what I'm saying. I am going to make a series of videos that are virtually picking a fight that will be subtitled like "Vodka is bullshit." Yes, Braylon's got someone in the Angry Bunch said some people get their personality from disagreeing with others. Yep, I was listening to, and hey, it's time for my semi-regular endorsement of the Behind the Bastards podcast. I just really like how well that Robert Evans researches his topics for Behind the Bastards. And I'm listening to one from a week or so ago where he's talking about the piece of shit that was Rush Limbaugh, who's now, I'd say fertilizer, but I think he's too toxic to be fertilizer. I think he's just some toxic waste bubbling away under the earth now. But yeah, he pointed out Limbaugh, who is evil and sick and is responsible for significant degradation of America and public discourse and society in America. He basically popularized the idea that being conservative doesn't mean standing for anything, doesn't mean doing anything. Being a conservative means owning the libs. They exist in relation to how much they hate other people. They don't exist in and of themselves. And I'm a person who does this and seeks to improve the world through this. And they define themselves by who they hate, which is really fucked up. Yes, Kirsten, all glasses that contain your drink is the right glass. Anyone pedantic about glassware is a numpty. Absolutely. Yeah, Shields, Disney Plus. Oh, you think a Disney what will they do now they have the rights to Deadpool and the X-Men movies? Good thing. Ashoka, coconut rum is great. And coconut liqueurs that simulate rum can be pretty good too. I've got a coconut rum over there that's fucking amazing. And it's interesting, these Braylon, pedantic, very good word in the vocab. You want my slang version of someone who's pedantic? I call them factwits, because they're fuckwits who assert a particular fact, and it may technically be true or true from a certain perspective what they're saying, but it adds nothing to the conversation, and they're just generally a fucking drag and want to make it all about them. So yes, formal term, pedant, or a person who is pedantic. My slang term, factwit. A fuckwit who gets obsessed with facts. Megaleech, send that suggestion to Disney now. Deadpool Wolverine road trip movie. Laurie, you call people like that social media vampires. Yes, fair call. They feed on other people's happiness and can't see their own projection in the mirror. Nice. Choking on Ashes, glad you like Factwit. Feel free to use it, because it's just those people who they're like the well actually crowd, and I'm just going to be devil's advocate crowd. It's like all they do is derail conversations and make it all about them, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. You know, no one needs to hear it. Just shut the fuck up. You know, there's always that old meme of the granny licking an icy pole and all the flavors in the world, and you choose to be salty. Yeah, Shieldsy, they could add Deadpool and the X-Men to the MCU, you know, start doing multiverse stuff. Be very interesting to see the next phase of Marvel movies get off the ground and see what they do with them and what characters they bring in. Because, it's like 50 years of history with hundreds and hundreds of characters, some of which are good. Some of the stories are good. And, yeah. But yes, and I am looking forward to Disney Plus is airing later this year an animated Marvel series called What If. It's like alternate timeline Marvel stories, like what if this happened or what if this didn't happen. Because they've been doing those as one-offs or short runs in Marvel for ages. What if stories? I'm really quite looking for that. Actually, even was it the Falcon and the Snowman? No, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Snowman was a movie about spies. Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts this week. I will definitely give that a go, see what it's like. Which I also suppose is going to be a window into next phase. When are they going to have the time and budget to risk making movies that they need to make $1 billion in cinemas on again? Maybe it's all TV now, I know. Laura, you enjoyed WandaVision too. I enjoyed it. Kirsten, packing for Melbourne, all you own is Distillery and Multiplier t-shirts. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Byron, a Squirrel Girl movie or series for the MCU. Yes. Yeah, Ashoka, that's a fair description of pedants, small-minded power players. Yeah. Braylon, don't know if you know Eterna from the MCU, but I think they need a movie about him. I do not know Eterna. I am going to look up Eterna because I'm a little bit into comics, but not Marvel and DC comics so much. Ooh, wow, is that a bad guy? Looks like a bad guy. Eterna from Earth 616. Powerful sorcerer. Intended to replace Stephen Strange as Sorcerer Supreme. Managed to steal away the Sanctum Sanctorum to his homeworld. Having injured Strange and claimed his totems and tomes, Eterna declared himself the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange and Rintrah followed Eterna, retrieved the Singer and Strange's hostage friends, made the decision to destroy his symptoms, objects, power, rather than... So yeah, it is a bad guy. Eterna is a bad guy wizard. That's true. The Black Widow movie was made ages ago. So yes, Phase 4 starts when the Black Widow movie comes out. Nobody, hello, good evening, sir. How are you? Nice to see you. Yes, sorry, I was just saying, it's nice to see you. What's happening in the world? Everyone's talking about COVID vaccines. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. The fucking thicko New South Wales Police Commissioner says there should be a consent app to deal with sexual assault, which is just like getting it so fucking wrong. So wrong. Oh my God, it was just mind-blowing how wrong he was. It's not surprising that a cop is so wrong, but Jesus. And Justin, hello. Did I know? Is that your first time popping up, Justin? I thought you were in chat earlier. I'm weird. Yeah, Mega Leech WandaVision actually is. Yeah, you can actually see that. Oh, or was it? Oh, no, because they actually said it on Disney Plus. I think officially on Disney Plus, they call WandaVision the start of Phase 4. I think they're calling all the series that they're launching this year Phase 4. Oh, look it up. is WandaVision Phase 4. Let me see. No one's answering it. Okay. No, I can't be bothered looking through all that. It's very, very boring viewing, me staring at a screen. No, but it seems obvious the government's trying to set up their inquiry in such a way won't find. Which inquiry are you talking about? Megaleech, I think you're right. That I think whether they're officially Phase 4 or they're just setting up Phase 4 movies, I don't know. But yes, Falcon and Winter Soldier I heard is definitely laying the groundwork. Like WandaVision laid the groundwork for a couple of things. Oh, nobody. The government's still refusing to have any sort of an inquiry into. Oh no, there is actually that inquiry about the general fuckery of Parliament, isn't there? Yeah, I don't know about that. But then, of course, we've got the absolute piece of shit Christian Porter suing the ABC. Fuck that guy. He's fucking garbage. Yeah, I will be interested to watch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series because they've made it look pretty cool, sort of action packed, and as opposed to Wanda, which was weird and trippy. Falcon and Winter Soldier seems set up to just be action, which cool. And I like Bucky as a character, so we shall see. Justin, yes, Kevin Rudd's been after News Corp for a while now. When you say he's doing a little mini series, what do you mean? Is that like YouTube stuff? Because he's been attacking Murdoch rightly. From what I've seen, he hasn't said anything that's incorrect about the Murdoch empire. They are toxic and they are destroying fucking society. There's no doubt about it. They've just debased public discourse and corrupted politics over the last, particularly the last 3 decades, but last 3-4 decades. Ashoka, if you're going to be a cunt, you should know by now I am absolutely going to fucking kick you. Here's the point. Most studies agree that well over 90% of rapes and sexual assaults are not reported. Of the ones that are reported, some are found to be deliberately false. The rate of false reporting of rape is no higher than the rate of false reporting for any other crime. So bringing up that statistic is absolutely meaningless unless you just want to let the world know that you're a fucking cunt. Okay? So just a little FYI there about actuality. Oh, Justin, Rudd's doing, is it videos or text on Facebook? He seems to enjoy doing the videos. Yeah, like I said, Rudd lost me when he turned into a complete piece of shit and undermined the Gillard government. And I think he had the potential to be a truly great prime minister and have a truly great legacy. But apparently his narcissism and mood swings made him absolutely impossible to work with. And then his behavior after he got offed in a vote was absolutely despicable. And that's his legacy. His legacy is being a complete fucking piece of shit. Yes, I know there are still some Rudd champions out there, but I think he just ruined his own legacy. I think I was a big fan of his in the early days of his prime ministership. Like I said, he had the potential to be a truly great prime minister, but his personal failings let him down, and yeah, instead his legacy is he's a piece of fucking shit. He is the reason we have a Liberal government now. He's the reason we got Tony Abbott. He's the reason we got Scott fucking Morrison now, who in so many ways is actually worse than Abbott. Other ways not as bad, but in some ways worse. But yeah. Justin, should there be a royal commission into Murdoch? Into what? That's too open-ended. If you're going to have a royal commission, it's to do something very specific. And I'm not sure what it would achieve. Like Rudd seems to be suggesting a royal commission to investigate, undue influence in politics. That seems like a dead end to me. I don't know. I don't know what I want to achieve with that. Laura, there was a Marvel UK comic about a character called Death's Head. A mechanoid bounty hunter started out the Transformers comics in the 80s. Funny character. Went from 30 foot tall to 8 foot tall. After bumping into Doctor Who, Sylvester McCoy's Doctor Who, met Iron Man and the Fantastic Four. They've certainly done some very weird stuff with Marvel over the years. Like the history of Shazam is really funny because there was the character Captain Marvel that someone I think it was a British guy. I think it was a British guy who started publishing comic under the name Captain Marvel. Yeah, and so this guy just decided Marvel Comics was taking off, and he invented a character called Captain Marvel. And I'm probably missing some of the pieces. Marvel successfully sued him and stopped publishing. And then the publishing company that he'd published Captain Marvel under got bought by DC. So then DC technically owned this character, Captain Marvel, and they published some stuff under the name Captain Marvel, and Marvel said to DC, "Are you fucking kidding?" And they went, "Okay," and they changed the name to Shazam. So there you go. No, but I don't think anyone wants Abbott back. But Abbott wants Abbott back, but I don't think anyone else does. Byron, you think the ACCC needs to look into Murdoch was allowed to acquire 70% of print media because the Liberal Party changed the fucking law. It used to be straight up illegal. We need to break up the Murdoch empire, change the media laws back to where they were to stop the consolidation of media into tiny hands, because it's fucking poisonous. What's that mean, Ashoka? You might be biased because you had a friend who was assaulted. Bearing in mind you're on super fucking thin ice. So, yeah. Very, very quick thing I saw. Oh wait, I can log on to Disney Plus from here. If I remember my password. Disney Plus. because they actually have things in phases. Right. So if I log in, continue. I think. Oh no, that's not it. Fuck. This happened before, and I got the password wrong, and I had to change it. And oh, geez, I've fucking forgotten again. All right, so much for that fucking theory. Jesus, maybe I wrote it down somewhere. Justin, you think Murdoch's papers should be seized or sold off to local owners with no links to Murdoch? True, and the fact that Murdoch is a foreigner as well doesn't deserve the say in how the country's run. I absolutely 100% believe we should go back to the media laws they were a couple decades ago, where you couldn't own more than one metropolitan newspaper, and you couldn't own a newspaper and a TV station. And Murdoch's empire should be forcibly broken up because it is categorically against the public interest. Yes, that is a good point, nobody. The way the Liberal Party gives tax money to their rich business mates who donate back to them anywhere else, that'd be called money laundering. That is about the size. I mean, they're so blatant. It seems about worst in New South Wales, but you just see, business X makes donation Y to the Liberal Party. Business X then gets given contract Z to make millions and millions off a taxpayer-funded contract. It's just like, they're so fucking corrupt. Laura, what's amusing? Marvel UK used to do comics from all sorts of stuff. Care Bears, robotics, visionaries. In theory, Death's Head in the John Munch. Yes, Munch in Marvel, because March crossed over all those cop shows. Yes. So in theory, Megatron could stomp Care Bears with Doctor Who, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and X-Men coming to the rescue. Yes. Nobody, abolishing political donations is not a terrible idea. Justin, if you were PM, you'd send ASIO after Murdoch. Just break up his media empire, because it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. I can't think of anything else to say. It's fucking criminal. Raiders, good evening to you, sir. Right. I finished me juice. I do have this that I made and haven't tasted yet. A little bit of a urine sample from a reasonably well-hydrated person. Might get a glass and some ice baby. Maybe nice clear ice again, actually. Get my double rocks glass. Most recent addition to my glassware. Ice, so much ice. This one, I think. Now I'll have to let it temper so it doesn't crack and ruin the nice clear effect. That's a huge bit of ice. Look at that huge bit of ice. See, it doesn't look clear yet because it's got frost on it because it's straight out of the freezer. But you let room temperature get it to a little bit, which is called tempering the ice, because it's so cold at the moment. And this is room temperature. If I poured that room temperature drink on there, it would crack, which would ruin the clarity of the ice. So I just have to be patient. I might have some water while I wait, actually. A little drinky of water. It's like to hydrate while I'm talking. Because you've given up washing the 2 black shirts you own that are not related to booze. Are using this as an excuse to buy more clothes? That seems like a perfectly valid excuse. I don't actually, for someone who got all this stuff, I don't have any booze clothes. When I bought the kit from Applewood last year for their Homegrowny week to make Negroni equivalents with Applewood products, there was a T-shirt in the pack as well, in the style of the NWO T-shirts of old. And it said Negronis with attitude, but it was size small, so I gave it to my lad, and so there you go. You can wear that. And he's looking at the checker. Is they trying to cause trouble with this T-shirt? And I was like, yeah, maybe, being a bit edgy, a little bit edgy. And yes, the Ashoka Murdoch's empire is collapsing because of the internet. That's why we have bad broadband in Australia, because Murdoch talked the Liberal Party into nobbling broadband. And nobody, that's actually a good point. Collapsing might be too strong a word, because he definitely has far too much influence. He's the reason Labor lost. Well, Labor's their own worst enemy, but he's largely the reason Labor lost the last federal election by spreading just hyperbole and lies about, we're going to take your grannies home. It was just like, they just wanted to do one thing, roll back one of the most egregious tax lurks John Howard ever did. It's the opposite of not taxing people. It's giving rich people money that they didn't earn. It was absolutely surreal. Like, nowhere else in the world is there such an egregious policy favoring the rich. But the Murdoch assault was nonstop, and Labor were really ineffectual. And yes, choking on Ash is definitely the reason the UK got Thatcher and Blair, although Blair's Labor. But Blair's a fucking neoliberal, same as Hawke and Keating were for Australian Labor in the 80s into the 90s. They were like our version of Blair, a bit more trade union-y than Blair, but still definite neoliberals. Laura, weird duality for Brits. The EU are getting pissy because the UK ordered millions of doses of vaccine from multiple sources during development, but the EU waited till vaccines were found to be effective before ordering. Now the EU is struggling to vaccinate. The UK is doing well. He is threatening to withhold supplies to the UK. Yeah, that could get ugly. Well, we had a thing with some, pre-ordered vaccines getting stopped in Italy because, they didn't, even though, there was a deal, they didn't want the vaccines to leave the EU, particularly for Australia, which has next to no problem with COVID spread in the community. No, but you want the whole Murdoch family to have a pit fight? Will we give them sharp sticks, or is it hand to hand? Both would be pretty brutal. Justin, yes, Hawke and Keating were from the Labor right. Yes, they were neoliberals. They did a whole bunch of big business. I mean, again, so much better than the subsequent LNP governments we had. They did enact a huge raft of very pro-business economic policies. Broadly speaking, yeah, they're pretty good though. But yes, they were definitely neoliberals. All right, when the feds are done with Trump, who can visit Trump? The Murdochs? Murdochs and Trump should be in jail together? Maybe. Yeah, nobody. A Murdoch deathmatch, family deathmatch, could be good pay-per-view. Lots of people would like to see it. So, I mean, you know, all these streaming services today, desperate for content, maybe pitch them the idea. Right. Okay. Yeah, I kind of thought you meant something like that, Raiders. You meant the Fed should go after Murdoch. I don't think anyone in America sees anything Murdoch's done as particularly egregious. Justin, who do I prefer? I'm a raving loony lefty. I thought I'd made that clear. I very much prefer the left-wing policies to right-wing policies. That's a good one, Byron. Hoping for a pay-per-view of Trump getting dragged out of the White House by his ankles. No, he skulked out like the fucking coward he is. He's such a coward. Laura, if it wasn't for the war in Iraq, Blair could have been considered one of the best UK politicians, but Iraq turned him gold into lead. Yeah, and also he's a fucking neoliberal. Is very much look after the wealthy and, you know, other people might benefit from that. Choco Nashes, this is water. I'm currently drinking water, but I'm about to drink something else, but I just wanted to drink some water. Raiders coming to Netflix. How we knocked Rupert off his perch for good. Yeah. I mean, yeah, hopefully with a cricket bat. That's where I want to knock him off his perch. But yes, of all the places in the world, I don't think you'd get people in America taking action against Murdoch, despite Fox News. Yeah, I don't think he's seen in quite the same light as he is in the UK and Australia as just a incredibly damaging influence. Just terrible. Which argument are you 90% in agreement with me on? I make lots of arguments. Laura, Trump's such a sore loser, refused to pass the presidential torch by attending the inauguration. Who wanted him? Like, yes, that shows he's a whiny little piss baby, but who wanted him there? Biden didn't want him there. No one wanted him there. And plus, you'll get to make fun of what a whiny little piss baby he is for not going as well. So, best of both worlds. No one actually wanted him there. And you can also make fun of him for not going. Actually, Raiders, I think you are correct. A significant chunk of Trump supporters wouldn't actually know who Rupert Murdoch was. I think you're actually right. And again, by that, I don't mean Republicans, because the majority of Republicans know and love Rupert Murdoch. But yeah, the hardcore loony Trump supporters, I reckon a big chunk of them don't even know who Rupert Murdoch is. Which is, fuck, I'd never considered that, but I think you're absolutely right. They don't know how the world got to here. And it isn't just people like Trump supporters who have this problem. I know I'm conscious of me doing it myself. A lot of people make the mistake of viewing the world as it is now, and they kind of get this view, this is how it's always been, and they don't know and they don't care to know how we got to where we are now. I think everyone has a bit of a tendency of that, but people like Trump supporters are real bad for it. I like that, nobody. A man would have to be 10 times smarter and more mature than Trump to be considered a total fuckwit. Yeah, Trump is, he's just, just, there's not words for him. We'll just make a noise of distaste. Trump is just, Mm. So you're checking ashes. Yes, you never thought of it either. Yeah. That's why I like discourse, because sometimes stuff comes up and it's like, Yeah, Laura, I kind of agree with you. It's very hard to know if Trump actually believes the lies he's spouting about, I didn't lose the election, but he'll never admit to it because he's created this idea that a loser is bad. But I think Trump's the typical cult leader, in as much as the vast majority of cult leaders know they're lying when they set up the cult. But there's been a lot of psychological studies that show if you repeat something over and over, you start to believe it. Or if you are exposed to something over and over, you start to believe it, no matter how much you resisted at the start. And most, if not all, cult leaders start off knowing that they are lying, but most of them end up believing their own message, even though it started off as a premeditated lie, because they repeat it over and over. People repeat it back to them. People keep saying it's true, and it starts to become your identity, and it's fucked up. And no, Laura, I haven't watched Brent Spiner's Fresh Hell. I've actually seen a little bit of it, but I never remember to watch it when I'm on YouTube. Oh, God, nobody. You've got a couple of people in your church and your dad who support Trump. Damn. Shieldsy, Trump might be high on drugs. They certainly pumped him full of some shit when he had the Rona. Interesting. This is a milk clarified Roman punch, which is a herbal liqueur, Benedictine, brandy, and what was the other part? Overproof rum. That's right. And I put some chocolate liqueur in here just for fun. Put it in my glass with my lovely clear. There you go. I'm going to fill my glass. That'll keep me going for the rest of the stream. Yeah, boy. Well, it's Thursday night. It's almost the weekend. So, because I properly... there's a little bit of bubbles in the base of that ice. You can see how invisible it is. It's in the drink. I love invisible ice. Wow, that's tasty. I'll let it chill a bit more. Do a finger stir. Byron, you'll admit when Trump was on weapons-grade steroids, Twitter storm was pretty amusing. Fuck, he's so lucky that he just didn't die of an aneurysm. They pumped him full of so much what the fuck. That'd be when Trump was in hospital, they were desperate and they just pumped him full of everything. And it worked. It didn't kill him. But that was such a risky strategy to just pump him full of everything. My God. Yes, Mega Leach. Biden's mere competence is such a refreshing change to Trump. It's a disturbingly low bar. Just be competent, please. Laura, there was Diaper Don trending on Twitter last year because it appears Trump wears an adult diaper after becoming incontinent due to too much cocaine in the 80s. I believe that's a complete fabrication, but who knows? Oh, Jesus, Raiders. Trump had some of the most evil advisors ever. Yeah, Stephen Miller, a straight-up Nazi, a straight-up Hitler-admiring fascist wannabe. Terrifying. And Bannon, people who were just straight-out promoters of Nazi ideology. It's freaky. Yeah, Choking on Ashes, there is a disturbing number of people in Australia who like Trump. It's really disturbing. Ha! Laura, did I watch the Gary Newman 9 Inch Nails version of Friends Electric? I did not. Sounds like it might be a bit of fun. Nobody think they should have pumped Trump full of heroin and OD'd him. He was fucking lucky that he didn't die from what they did pump into him. Oh, Well, that's quite good. See, before I clarified it, this drink was quite brown, orangey brown. Now it's a very light. It was also opaque. Now it's a very light, clear yellow. Oh, that's really quite tasty. Yep, choking on ashes. Trump's cabinet was full of fascists. It was fascists and fascist wannabe people who love the idea of ruling as a totalitarian. As quite freaky. Raiders did. I'm trying to remember. And now I'm going to look it up. Did Trump pardon Bannon? Because I think he did. Did Trump pardon Bannon? He did. I thought he did. It's fucking bullshit. Where is it? Rogerson. What is Bannon pardoned for? Raised more than pleaded not guilty. Yeah. No, he did pardon Bannon, which is really shit. Oh, Kirsten bought tickets to another gin festival. Nice. Is it Laura trending in the UK? Tommy Robinson filed for bankruptcy. Oh yeah, no, okay. Tommy Robinson is a severe cocaine abuser. He's been on video multiple times, just fucking snorting fat rails of coke. He's he's just like Robinson's just very broadly a criminal and irresponsible with money. Speaking of people who deserve to go to prison again, he absolutely deserves to go to prison again. Fuck, that's wild. The other thing, like these milk clarified drinks, besides changing the appearance of the drink radically, it changes the flavor. Kind of smooths out all the edge, and it's very hard to pick out individual things. And because like this has a herbal liqueur and brandy and overproof rum in it. Actually, also chocolate liqueur. I can't really pick anything out. It tastes really nice, but it's just become its own thing. I can't really pick anything out. Maybe a bit of the rum in the aftertaste. I'm not sure. Raiders Beauty, though, pardon, they don't include crimes committed post date, and Bannon will probably commit another crime. True. I'm not sure if Trump, because there were a bunch of people involved in that build the wall fraud. I'm not sure if Trump pardoned the other ones. And what I don't know, those type of people are so spiteful. If the others go down for it and Bannon walks free because of Trump's pardon, I think the other people are perfectly capable of having Bannon whacked. Like Bannon was trying to start a fascist academy in Italy. He thought that Italy would be amenable to him starting a fascist academy. And he got blocked, which was nice. Bannon is this weird mix of dangerous and pathetic. It's like dangerous and ineffectual at the same time. But he's absolutely shameless in terms of both his fascism and his criminality. So he's bound to take a fall for something else. is going to overestimate, like he grossly overestimates his own intelligence. He grossly overestimates his own capabilities, because that's why he did something so flagrant. Although he turned out to be right. I think the fraud with the build the wall stuff was so flagrant. It was probably a combination of he thought he was too smart to get caught, which is not true. But if he did get caught, Trump would pardon him, which turned out to be true. But yeah, Raiders, I think you're right. Like, if he took any more money from that build the wall bullshit, that would be a whole new crime. And the pardon wouldn't cover it, I don't think. Byron, you did the clarification thing with Kahlua and OP bourbon. Tastes like very strange sweet iced coffee. Oh, that sounds really good. I don't have Kahlua because I don't really like coffee flavors, but I have, fuck man, I might do that. I've got some good cream liqueurs. I haven't done it with whiskey. Whiskey with a chocolate liqueur. I've got a chocolate cream liqueur in there. What have I got? I've got an Irish whiskey based one, the Liquor 43 based one, the weird vodka biscuit one. I think this is the fourth one. I've got a bit of an obsession with cream liqueurs. Irish whiskey. Disaronno. Disaronno could be good. That's like almond liqueur. Yeah, I'm going to make a couple of quite elaborate milk punches soon because I found some really quite elaborate recipes. Make them for my cocktail channel. Oh, that's the thing. I have to decide what I'm going to do tomorrow. I think I've decided there's actually 2 birthdays next week. It's Quentin Tarantino's birthday next Friday, and the Difford's Guide for his birthday, they found a cocktail called the Pulp Fiction, which I think I'll make for Friday, which is Quentin Tarantino's birthday. But Wednesday, the 24th, I think it is. Let me double check. Yes. There's a woman called Helen David. She is a pretty legendary bar owner in the 20th century. She was actually born in an apartment above what would later become her bar in Port Huron, Michigan. She was born on the 24th of March, 1915. She worked in the bar for almost 70 years. The bar was called the Brass Rail. She died in 2006. She apparently, it's quite legendary, trained countless bartenders over that 7 years. But a more famous one is her cousin, Tony Abu Ghanim, who's quite well known in modern bartending circles. And he invented a cocktail called the Brass Rail in her honor. So I think I'll make a Brass Rail on Wednesday for one of the icons of the 20th century bar scene, and make a Pulp Fiction on Friday for Quentin Tarantino's birthday. So Tony Abu Ghanim currently is a bartender in Las Vegas. Bit of a celebrity, goes on TV, does books. Used to work in San Francisco, Harry Denton's Starlight Room. Oh, he's at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Wow. In 2002, he won the Bacardi Martini World Grand Prix, one of only 2 Americans to ever win the title. National Ambassador of the US Bartenders Guild. Associate member of the Museum of the American Cocktail. Man, I have to go there. So yeah, I think I'll do a brass rail and a Pulp Fiction. There's a tropical titty twister. Laura, you could be right. Quentin Tarantino could do great versions of Hamlet or Macbeth. Dead people and screwed up characters, his speciality. I think I'm going to sneeze. So I might have to, it's tickling my nose, some dust. Excuse me. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. Now for Monday, I have to decide. I'm thinking of doing 2 recurring or semi-recurring bits for my cocktail channel. One is doing milk punches, and I love alliteration. So I'm thinking like Milk Punch Monday. Got saw someone else does Margarita Monday. He does versions of margaritas. Someone did Mai Tai Monday. Do Milk Punch Monday. I had this idea of doing a milk clarified version of all the most famous classic cocktails. And because they're not all going to be winners, but some of them will be. Also be an opportunity to show off my clear ice. Yep, this one's good. It's been diluted a bit by the ice. A huge chunk of ice doesn't melt that much. I might actually put it back in the freezer when I finish this drink, because I think there's going to be a lot of it left. Tropical Titty Twister. Okay, I know, because the Titty Twister was the name of the bar in From Dusk Till Dawn. Tropical Titty Twister on cocktailbuilder.com. What do they call that? Soda, vodka, and Captain Morgan. Get fucked. Sorry, that's a terrible drink. Vodka, and Captain Morgan. Jesus fuck. I would replace all of those. Oh, a splash of vodka. What fuckwit came up with that? That's a fucking terrible drink. That is fucking terrible. Someone else's version. What did they say it is? Banana liqueur, coconut rum, orange vodka. Well, they say half an ounce rather than a splash. Still, orange vodka and raspberry vodka. Jesus Christ, put something in that actually has fucking flavor instead of artificially flavored fucking vodka. Oh, by the way, the second regular thing I'm going to do is going to be a series subtitled Vodka is Bullshit, where I'm going to get the most popular vodka cocktails and make them better by not fucking using vodka. I'm thinking of I'll do a battle royale. Because I'll go with white spirits, because one of the things with vodka being colorless, they're often brightly colored drinks. So I'm thinking, get one like a porn star martini. Instead of using vodka, I do 3 alternatives. Make it with white rum, gin, and tequila. Look, Choking Ashes, if you like drinking vodka straight, that's one thing. And look, again, if you put vodka in a cocktail, it's there to get you drunk. That's an admirable cause, but it adds nothing to the drink. It doesn't add flavor to the drink. It doesn't add character to the drink. Where if you make the same drink with something with a bit of character, be it rum, gin, or tequila, the drink's actually going to be interesting. And look, if you're just free, like, no, actually, I just want to get drunk without tasting anything, it's like, okay, I guess. I also count myself guilty of doing that. But or if like Abigail, who's regularly in the chat, who likes sipping vodka straight, that's one thing. If you found a vodka that you like to sip, that's one thing. But yes, putting vodka in cocktails is bullshit because it brings nothing to the party. You know, it's get pissed juice. And you can get pissed on things that have a better taste. But yeah, if you're a straight vodka drinker, that's an entire different thing, because then you actually are experiencing what flavor the vodka has. But in terms of cocktails, it's just like it's bringing nothing to the party. It's yeah, look, and if you're just trying to get pissed, yeah, sure, fine, whatevs. But you can also get pissed on something that tastes better. So something that has a bit of character. So, and I have to admit, doing the vodka is bullshit. That's definitely a bit clickbaity. Like I'm trying to start controversy because lots of people say, "Hey, I like vodka and drinks." Of course you do. That's fine. I'm just trying to cause trouble. I'm just trying to cause trouble. So I'm thinking that's what I'll do. Like I get a very popular vodka cocktail because there are a lot of them, and make it with different white spirits and see which one's best. I'll see which one I prefer. Best is a bad word to use. There's just what you prefer. I do love, like we were talking earlier about snobs and people being obnoxious. I love the guys on YouTube, the Whiskey Tribe. These guys who have a distillery in Texas, and they have this whole sort of group, cult-like following, the Whiskey Tribe. And they really explore, they love whiskey and they explore it and they talk about all those facets. And they have the big thing is the best whiskey is the one you like drinking. You don't talk down someone else's preference. It's like taste is an individual thing. So saying this is better than that is kind of bullshit. Safa, been having a Palmer. Nice. Mega Leech, make them with vodka as control. Maybe, but then that's 4 drinks. And I'm going to end up really pissed. Admittedly, I don't have to drink them all. I could just sip them and then tip them all into a big thing and milk clarify it and drink it later. But I could do it with vodka as a control, but it's... Oh, sorry. Choking on ashes. What's a Palmer? That is a very popular Australian delicacy, notably served in pubs. Chicken Parmigiana, or in some cases veal Parmigiana, but it's almost always chicken Parmigiana, which Australian style is a chicken breast that's just been beaten out flat, ideally till it's fucking huge. And then you crumb it and fry it. And then it's like pizza topping. It's like a tomato paste type thing, ham and cheese on top, and that's grilled. And Parma, fuck yeah. Ooh, Kirsten, new Aussie whiskey alert. Adelaide Hills Distillery went on pre-release. 110 for 700 mils. They have your vote, do they? Adelaide Hills. Let me have a look at their website. Adelaide Hills Distillery. Let's have a look at their website. Crafted. Oh, they're going to do... Are you old enough to buy a G&T in a bar? Yes, I am. Oh, they do the 78 degrees gin. Okay, yes. So I'm familiar with that product. Oh, and they're doing canned G&T. Nice. Winning the international awards. They do a bitter orange aperitif. Don't think it's on their website. I don't really want to... Products. Oh, a native grain whiskey. Is that it? So they make a vodka. Gin. Native grain whiskey. They also do an apple brandy, vermouths, and what looks like a spiced rum. Holy shit! Their native grain whiskey is $450, and it's sold out. So that's clearly not what you were talking about. Gunnery Australian Spiced. They're not calling it a rum, but it is distilled from sugarcane and molasses. They're just calling it spiced. Gunnery Australian Spiced. We wanted to produce a spiced white spirit that wasn't driven by vanilla and sweetness, eschewing artificial flavors and aromatics in flavor of natural ingredients. Okay, so whatever you're talking about, Kirsten, is not on their website. Oh, when you're going on date to Mrs. Palmer's when you're with husband in Melbourne. Yes. Mr. Gonzo, hello to you. Maybe if I signed up for their newsletter, I'd find out about it, Kirsten. Nobody, all this booze makes you want to drink. Sorry, that's a thing. Yeah, you thought the thumbnail meant I was dropping acid. I just, found that image today in one of my archives and thought it would be fun to use for a thumbnail. It does kind of suggest an acid trip. Okay, you found it. All right, I'm going to sign up for their newsletter then. Contact us. God, it was one of those annoying pop-ups that I told to fuck off. Now I can't find their sign-up thing. Try once more. Blade Hills Distillery website. No, it remembers me and it hasn't done the pop-up. Ludiol, sustainability, about us. During the national crisis, we're offering free door-to-door shipping Australia-wide. Fuck yeah. Oh, I'll try and remember to do it on another computer. Anna, hello. Oh, God, Gonzo, everyone living in your house got their stimulus checks, but not you. That's a bit harsh. Oh, and hi, Annette as well. Hello. Yes, we did have a bit of stimulus check talk earlier in the stream, Gonzo. Well, hopefully yours arrives tomorrow, maybe. Annette, you just watched the best idea for a D&D game. Do tell. Sounds like fun. So, yes. So I haven't decided. Do I do I think I'll do milk. I'll do Milk Punch Monday. I'll do my first Milk Punch Monday. And I was actually thinking of doing a martini, which is a bit counterintuitive because depending how you make them, martinis are usually clear. And the whole thing with clarification is make it clear. But it isn't just making something clear when you clarify it. you're also changing the taste and the mouthfeel, because it's a little bit silkier when the whey gets added to it in the clarification process. So I might actually start with a martini because that's a bit counterintuitive. And as I think about it, I'm kind of fascinated to see what it'll do. So Annette, the D&D game Fantasy High Dimension 20. D&D mid to late 20th century town. Done with John Hughes 80s movie cliches. Fun! Gonzo, you don't do direct deposit. There's sounding like a shotgun-toting hillbilly. You don't particularly trust the banks. Man, trusting banks is not a good idea. I use banks. I don't trust them. And I have sacrificed like my mistrust of banks for convenience. There's someone who I'm Facebook friends with posted this cryptocurrency meme today, like, oh, I've heard about this, sort of currency. It's called the US dollar and it doesn't mean anything. And like, is it a scam too? Because technically, almost anything you can say about cryptocurrencies, you can actually say about other currencies too. They aren't real. They are only real so long as everyone involved in the transaction believes they're real. They are not they don't have intrinsic value. But, the US dollar is backed by banks and the government and the world economy for what that's worth. Cryptocurrencies are backed by nerds believing the same thing. And it's particularly vulnerable to exploitation and scams. It's really vulnerable. So yes, so Gonzalo, like I said, there has been multiple times where you could turn $100 into 17K with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies because it's just gambling. It is just the casino for nerds who think they know finance. It is absolutely gambling. All currency trading is gambling. All stock market trading is gambling. Cryptocurrency just happens to be the most volatile and the highest risk of all of those. Now, because it's the most volatile, it has potentially the highest returns as well. But by the same token, it's much more likely to lead you to total ruin, particularly with margin trading. You're doing the biggest risk one, the one that you're at much higher risk of losing everything. Oh, Byron, Wall Street stock exchanges are absolute fucking bullshit, and they're evil and fucked and should be banned. They used to serve a purpose. They don't now. It's just turned into an outright criminal enterprise. The stock exchanges around the world are just a criminal enterprise, and they should absolutely be abolished. They're absolute bullshit. Nobody used CUA. I assume that's a credit union, is it? Credit unions are great compared to banks, which is why the banks had been swallowing up all the credit unions because they undermined banks' profitability. And if the banks just bought them all, then that threat was gone. What did I miss? And I'll say that D&D thing is done with professional comedians. Awesome, especially after a couple of old fashions. It sounds really good. Is that on YouTube? Because it does sound very good. Yeah, so Mr. Gonzo, you played, you spun the roulette wheel and it came up on your number. Because margin trading is outrageously risky. Because normally, like if you invest in the stock exchange or anything, if you invest in anything, the risk is your investment can become worthless and you lose all your money. If you do margin trading, the risk is you could end up in debt for 100 times more than you ever put in. The nature of margin trading, you could be in debt for more than you ever put in, like much more than you ever put in. That's phenomenally dangerous. Yes, that, Byron, is exactly that whole Reddit GameStop thing that the people in power got upset, like, hey, those nerds on the internet are manipulating stock prices. We're the only ones who do that. Even like, if you ever want to get really angry, watch the movie The Big Short, because that just highlights the combined irresponsibility and criminality of the stock exchange. It's absolutely outrageous. It's that weird, it's an unholy mix of overconfidence, ignorance, and just straight up criminality. It's fucked. Gonzo, I'm with you. It's almost impossible to parody Wall Street. It's a massive criminal enterprise. I know that sounds like hyperbole, but if the general public really, truly understood the degree of criminality at play on stock exchanges around the world, there would be a fucking revolution. Those people would be dragged into the fucking street and strung up from light poles, because the number of lives they destroy and they never face any repercussions for it, it's ridiculous. So the D&D thing is funny, as if nerds on the internet are different, basically the public think that they're fucked and they can't comprehend it. Yeah, well, Shannon, hello, good evening. Yes, get me on one of my little hobby horses. Banks and the stock exchange. Pack of fucking criminals. Absolute fucking criminals. And most of them, it's premeditated crime. They know they're committing crime. They think it's funny that they're committing crime. They're confident they'll never face repercussions for committing a crime. Some of them, they're just criminally incompetent or criminally negligent and cause massive damage with their incompetence. But most of them cause damage with their outright criminality. And then everyone I know loves me. Everyone I know is just like them. Yeah. Laurie, you need to get going. Stuff to do. Big day ahead. Enjoy that. You know, Grasshopper wants to. Oh, why not? It's Thursday night. Who wants to join? I'll just throw out the invite. I'll put the link out there for anyone who wants to join. Clicky on the linky. Mr. Gonzo, you got to go too. Thanks for dropping in. Mega Leech, Grasshopper was also posting on Facebook because he knows I can see him there. Nice. Laura, a week away from your first GIC assessment. Onwards and upwards, hopefully. Gonzo off to run some errands. Have a good day. Grasshopper, hello, sir.
Good evening, Angry. How are you?
Good, man. Just, cruising. How about you?
Oh, apart from feeling like as if I could jump out of the car and swim home, it's pissing down that bad out here at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Shieldsy was saying it was really pissing down, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Shieldsy's up in Queensland. I'm
that's
down
right.
here
He's Queensland. You're in New South Wales. Yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah. No, it was coming down that bad that, like, I had my windscreen wipers on, like, full speed, and I could still barely see past my bonnet. Like, it was crazy. No, I said that I wanted to just come in and just have a quick rant. Now, Annette will know about this post because she commented on it. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the other night, bloody typical man baby having a whine about your fucking, somebody basically made a post saying that women don't feel safe in today's society if they're out by themselves, walking down the street. And it alluded to rape culture, and of course you get your typical man baby making a post that rape culture is complete bullshit, and it basically says that men condone rape and all of this sort of shit, and you try to correct them, and of course they just gish gallop and come out with a whole bunch of nonsensical goalpost shifting bullshit. But one of the things that he said that it's one of the things that I keep on hearing a lot at the moment, and it's driving me fucking nuts. And I just want to just vent my fucking spleen about it. He says that he doesn't have a girl because he is, quote, fat and ugly. Or sorry, a, quote, fat and ugly prick. Now, I'll go with the prick part. I'll grant him that. But as somebody who certainly fits into the category of fat and ugly, according to societal standards, which, just to be clear, fuck societal standards on beauty in the first place.
Yes.
But as somebody that fits into that fucking category, I have still got this absolutely beautiful, successful, gorgeous, intelligent, driven fucking wife. And I got her while being a fat, ugly prick. You're like, and this is for all men who are sitting around claiming that they can't get a girlfriend because they don't look good enough, or they don't have enough money in the account, or whatever the case may be. Stop looking outwards at society for your lack of ability to attract a mate. Start looking fucking inwards, because your looks mean fucking nothing at the end of the day. Mrs. Angry isn't with you because of the way that you look. Eleanor isn't with me because of the way that I look. Nobody's partner is with them because of the way that they look in the long run of things. Sure, being good looking might help with the initial getting somebody's attention, but in order to make a relationship last and work and be meaningful and deep and all of those sorts of weird and wonderful things, it's got everything to do with who you are as a person and absolutely fucking nothing to do with the way that you look. If you are going out and meeting a bunch of people whom you are attracted to, and all of them are basically going, yeah, flattered but not going to happen, maybe, just fucking maybe, you need to look inwards. Like, maybe it's your attitude. Maybe it's your behaviors towards them. Maybe it's the jokes that you think are edgy or funny or whatever the case may be. Maybe it might be this pseudo-intellectual bullshit where you're sitting there with a bunch of females saying that rape culture is bullshit and that women, like, sure, women don't feel safe, but neither do men. Therefore, it's for everybody. It's not just a women thing. Like, all of this bullshit that they keep on fucking sprouting all of the goddamn time. The reason why you don't have a partner is because of fucking you. It's got nothing to do with the way that you look. I'm so annoyed with that shit.
That's good to get. How are you doing, Nettie?
Just 1 second, I'll be right back.
I'm on number 4.
Nice. This probably counted as 2. That's probably me for the night. That's like my clarified cocktail with everything that I whacked in there. That probably counted as at least 2 old fashions. I'm a little overstressed, so possibly a little over drinky. Because I haven't heard about that wonderful place yet. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm starting to lose faith, so I have to. So I'm applying for a whole bunch of places that are not nearly as suitable.
Yeah. It's like I'm coming up on the 4th anniversary of moving into this place, so I'm seeing all my Facebook memories from 4 years ago when I was moving. They're about to get really angry because the move was the worst experience of my life. Like, moving's always stressful, but this one was exceptionally bad. My Facebook memories in the next month are going to get really angry.
What went wrong? Did you get the wrong removalists or something
Everything
like that?
Went wrong. The move was bad, and then post the move, the landlord was a colossal piece of shit who was not only trying to refuse to give us back our bond, he came up with this pile of bullshit saying he'd have to renovate the place so much because of us. We owed him $20,000. So we had to go to VCAT, and of course it all got thrown out because it was stupid as shit, and we got the majority of our bond back. But the landlord was a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So, in fact, we'd lived there for 10 years because it was really cheap. It was really run down, which is why it was really cheap. Because every time I got to visit him and looked what was available, the rent was just so much higher. But then he pushed us. He changed real estate agents for about the fourth time. And I always think it was because they wouldn't be mean enough to us because we were always paying the rent and we weren't destroying the house. And I think he was telling them, go and harass these tenants. They're terrible. And the real estate agents were saying, what's wrong with you? Those are good. Those are model tenants. And he changed estate agents again, and they came and did an inspection, and they did this really aggressive, like, everything's fucked, you have to fix it, blah, 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 blah. And you have to fix it in 2 weeks, or and so I wrote them a really polite but seethingly angry email that said, back the fuck off. And it said, none of that stuff's reasonable. And the idea of just coming up with this cavalcade of stuff that doesn't even need to be fixed and saying we have 2 weeks to do it is absolutely ridiculous. And my closing line was, and if this is your opening gambit in trying to evict us, you could just say so and I'll save you the trouble and I'll be out. And I think it's because I went at them with both barrels. They were like, oh, no. And I thought about it and seethed about it for like a week or two.
Yeah.
And I just said, Mr. Angry, no, I'm going to kill these people. I'm going to fucking kill them. We need to move. I'm not putting up with that. We pay 50%.
Sorry, when you say move, like move locations, or like with the new location going to a different real estate agency as well?
Oh, it was a different real estate agent because there's no way we could go through that real estate agent because they were fucking pieces of shit. But it was literally just move. We have to leave this place. The landlord is a psycho. This real estate agent sucked shit. And yeah, rent on this place is 50% higher than on the other place, but it's 100% better. Like, no exaggeration. It's just orders of magnitude better than the. I was just putting up with this really gross, damp, run-down old house because it was cheap, and at a certain point, it was like, ugh, no.
It's not worth it after a while.
Yeah, 10 years. We stayed there 10 years.
I stayed in a place for 12 years until they decided to knock the place down and let apartments be built on it. But
it was similar to a place. Sorry, Nettie. I was just. You go first, Alan.
Okay. As the best example. One day, we came back from a week away in Sydney to find what looked like a bit of a lawn growing in our lounge room.
Yeah.
What it really was mold.
Yes.
Like about this tall, growing throughout because the hot water heater had broken and flooded the place.
Oh, no.
Oh, God, it was so gross.
Oh, my God.
And then it was for 5 weeks without a toilet, but anyway.
Oh, good
It
Lord.
reminds me of a place that my wife and I used to rent out at a place called East Richmond, not Richmond, Melbourne, East Richmond, New South Wales.
Yes.
And, we went for the place because the rent was reasonable. in today's rental market anyway.
Yeah.
And we found out very quickly why the rent was quote unquote reasonable the moment that we saw the place. And so we're up on the top story of this 2-story place that used to be its own standalone house, but then they decided that the top story could be its own thing and the bottom story could be its own thing, and so they closed it all off and did all of the modifications. And of course, they went for the cheapest, lowest common denominator for everything that they did in terms of the modifications.
They do.
Oh yeah, no. The oven in the kitchen was the best thing about that house. So it was a tiny little oven, tiny little thing, with like 4 tiny little bloody hot plates on the top of it. And the moment that you turned on any one of those hot plates, the rest of the electricity in the house would flip a switch and turn off.
Oh no! Oh no!
So for
Again,
the first,
let that one go.
yeah. Oh, we called up the real estate. We're like, oh, this is happening. And the real estate's like, oh, that's no good. We'll send somebody out to have a look at it for you. I said, no worries. They send out an electrician like a couple of days later. He comes out and he has a look at it and he goes, yeah, no, it's a problem with the electrics. I'll get back in contact with the real estate because we don't have the appropriate parts, and I'll let them know what it is. We'll get back in contact with you, blah, 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 blah. It took the better part of 2 years for it to finally get fixed. And their fix, their fix at the end of it wasn't to fix the electrics or anything like that. It was to replace the entire fucking stove with another tiny little piece of shit stove. So for like the better part of 2 years, we were using like a little camping hot plate thing in the kitchen in order to do things like, boil water and shit like that.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, it was horrible. The floorboards would creak, and nothing that you could really do about that for the most part. But the person that lived underneath us, they started getting a whopping dose of the shits with us, because at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd get up out of bed to go to the bathroom or to start getting ready for work, because at that time I started work at 6:30 in the morning. So I'd walk from my bedroom to the bathroom, and creak, 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 and that would wake them up because their bedroom was directly beneath ours. So, all of these things, the air conditioner literally had the plants that were outside growing through the air conditioner into the living room, to the point that there were a few times that I'm there in the living room with secateurs cutting the bush out of our in wall air conditioner.
I take it the air conditioner didn't work.
No, actually, funnily enough, it tried. You could turn it on. It tried. You could turn it on, and it would start blowing air. It would do its level best to cool it down, but of course it wasn't very successful because of all of the bushes going through there. But it was worth turning it on because the bushes had this lovely, like a lavender smell to them. So you turn on the air conditioner, it was sort of like a potpourri going throughout the whole house of this just lovely little lavender smell, which was terrific because the bathroom leaked onto the carpet in the hallway, so it always stunk to high fucking heaven. The place was an absolute nightmare, and towards the end of it, we'd saved up enough money to get a down deposit on a place. That's why we chose this place, was so that we could afford rent and to save up to get a down deposit. And while we were there, towards the end of it, we just got to the point that we're like, no, we're not paying rent anymore, bugger you. Until this gets fixed, we're not doing anything. Because the shower had stopped working, the toilet had stopped working, the new oven that they got us barely bloody worked, the faults with the rest of the house, all of this, and we were just like, no, we're not paying rent until we get all of this fixed. So the real estate send the person that did all of our housing inspections that you get done once every 3 months or so, where they kind of come in and have a look inside of your house for 5 minutes and go, yep, no, that's all good, give you a tick and walk out. They sent that same person out to our place, and that same person had the audacity to stand there and say to my wife and I that we had never reported any of those problems when we had reported them directly to her. And my wife and I were both like,
see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, we were like, you're fucking wrong on all of that. And long involved little legal battle later, we ended up not having to pay the last 2 or 3 months worth of rent, and we still got our full security deposit back. So we were happy with that when we finally got out of there. But there are so many rental, just absolute fucking nightmare stories out there. It breaks my heart.
Yeah. I was like, when I say this place is the rent's 50% higher than the other place, this place isn't expensive. That's just the market. The other place was that far below the market because it was really fucking down.
Is the location kind of okay though?
Yeah. We just moved. Used to be in East St Kilda. Moved a couple suburbs further out in near Caulfield now. So it's the same general area. It's about 2 suburbs further out. We actually, Mrs. Ananga and I were talking about this just the other day about the old place and whatnot, and the flat she used to live in before we moved in together. She owns that flat, and so it's being rented out now. We talked about the potential of retiring and moving back into that flat sometime in the future. And I go, yeah, that would be cool. But I have to admit, I don't have any urge to move back to that neighborhood in the sense of I don't miss it. I don't go, oh, the old neighborhood was so good. I hate being here. No, the old neighborhood was good. This neighborhood is good. Those are good. So, yeah.
So you were going to say something, Nettie?
I've forgotten what it was.
Yeah, full old fashioned to do that to you.
Number 4.
Yeah.
I mean, are the rent prices down in Melbourne as bad as they are up here in Sydney?
Not as bad, but pretty comparable.
Well, the rent prices are really weird.
Nobody. Long time no see, buddy.
Hi, nobody. Haven't seen you for ages. Oh, that lovely deep voice. The rent prices are weird, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my wife and I many, many, many years ago used to live out at a place called Ultimo, which is right near the Sydney CBD.
I know Ultimo.
Yeah, and for the short time that we lived out there, we paid $375 a week. Back then was a lot of money for this place, and it's a glorified shoebox. It really is a glorified shoebox. The toilet, shower, laundry were all one little compact room. The kitchen was just this tiny little thing, and the lounge room was this tiny little thing. And then you go upstairs, and there were 2 doors, and those were the 2 bedrooms, and that was it. It was tiny.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
no,
we paid $375 a week back. We paid $375 a week for that place in it was 2002 coming into 2003. I saw that same place up for rent last year, $890 a fucking week.
Ooh.
That's
for a glorified fucking shoebox.
Yeah, but you have stairs.
In my car to do that.
What was that?
I had to live in my car before I did that. I couldn't afford that.
Actually,
where do you live, buddy? Are you Melbourne, Queensland, New South Wales?
Me?
Yeah.
Queensland.
Okay, so are you close to a built-up area, or are you a good distance away, or?
It's not too badly built up. Where I am, I guess you'd call it a working class neighborhood. It's not bad.
And is rent out there reasonable-ish?
Well, I'm probably paying what's considered the cheaper end of things at $315 a week.
And that's a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom?
Yeah, it's a 2-bedroom house. It is actually not too bad for what the place is, but it goes up by $5 a week every year. But whose rental doesn't?
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Actually, I just looked it up. I looked it up because we were talking about it, and this one site reckons the difference. Sydney's noticeably more expensive. They're saying to rent a 1-bedroom apartment in the city, in Sydney, would cost you $2,500, and in Melbourne would cost you $1,700, which is a big difference. A month, sorry, a month. Yeah. And a 3-bedroom apartment in Sydney, in the city, is like 4,700, and in Melbourne is 3,300. So it's a really noticeable difference.
No, well, I mean, where I live now, you can rent a house out here, which is on 1 acre block, 5 bedrooms, a pool, driveway, garage, air conditioning, gigantic kitchen, everything, and it's the same price as that cheaper, way cheaper than that glorified shoebox out at Ultimo. You could get that place out here right now per week for the week is $490 for the week.
Yeah.
That other place is literally double that, and it's a glorified shoebox. And the travel from here into the city, if you work in the city, probably about an hour and a half. If you drive to the train station, it's about an hour and a half. So you'd be up for about 3 hours worth of travel per day, but you would literally be saving yourself the better part of $500 a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say, at the moment, if anybody wants to move to the city in Melbourne, now is the time to start looking, because I've noticed the rents are boom.
The last
They're going
12
down.
months, yeah, because the vacancy rate has skyrocketed. Because everyone living in the city was a fucking foreign student, basically, and
foreign
they're all
workers.
gone. Yeah, they're all
Let's
gone.
not forget the economy is not in great shape.
What was that?
I said
So
let's
what
not
do you-
forget the economy could be in better shape.
He said that the economy has been in better shape.
Yeah, that's true. There's just nobody moving into the city at the moment.
Yeah.
And
I'm not
I
even
noticed
moving
this
in.
week, all of a sudden, there are 3-bedroom places becoming vacant. I've never seen that before.
Uh-huh.
And I've been
How many
keeping
kids-
my eye on the market for at
Have
least a
you got
year.
1 or 2 kids, Nettie?
2 kids.
You got 2. So you need so you're after like a 3-bedroomer.
Yeah. And this is a lovely little place on Latrobe Street that is a little bit Parisian, and it is a townhouse in a complex of townhouses in the city. And it's just lovely. And I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and for fuck's sake, tell me that I've got it. Now, so it's been a week.
Such fun.
Oh God, I'm so uncomfortable. So to ease my
Having to
discomfort,
move is like it's in the top 3 most stressful things to have to deal with.
and I've done it a lot.
Yeah, I feel sorry for you. That's rough.
And doing it with kids isn't fun because they've
No,
got
it
so
wouldn't
much
be.
crap and they don't want to let go of any of it.
Yep. Yep. I helped the mother of my godchildren move twice when she lived down here. And yeah, 2 daughters, and like going into young girls' rooms and being like, right, we need to pack this up so that we can start doing the move. And oh boy, like
Oh, but I need this. Oh, but I need this.
yeah, you could set aside like 3 days just to pack up the 2 girls' rooms and like half a day to pack up the rest of the house.
Yeah.
It's no secret that I have a bit of clutter around.
Say again, sorry, nobody?
I said it's no secret that I've got quite a bit of clutter. I mean, some of the stuff is decent.
I have to say, I've noticed that if you don't have a lot of pets, you're allowed to have pets in Melbourne now. But if you don't have a lot of pets, and you don't mind living in a box in the sky, now's a really good time to move to the city because the rents are coming down like, below 500 per week. And that's actually quite surprising. It might make the Queenslander flinch, but it's actually pretty good.
For Melbourne CBD, yeah. Yeah, it's because the vacancy rate's through the roof. So many people bailed in the last 12 months.
Anytime that rents are plummeting, I'm happy.
Anytime that real
Yeah.
estate takes, as somebody who is in the process of paying off a house, anytime that I see the real estate prices take a bit of a nosedive, I'm always like, keep that up. That's a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's when my wife and I moved from the place that we were in into this place here, when my dad got sick, like all of the real estate companies and all of that are all coming to us. Oh, negative gear this, negative gear that, negative gear this, negative gear that. And my wife and I were like, no, absolutely. We don't want to be a fucking cog in that machine because we are so heavily against it, because it's one of the main reasons that rent prices are so fucking ridiculous, and why like especially in Sydney, I don't know about Melbourne or Queensland, but in Sydney there's a huge fucking problem with empty places.
Mm.
You know, they
No,
get
there's a
bought
big
out
problem with it here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they get bought out by a business or whatever, and they don't put tenants in there. So there's less houses available on the market, and that also pushes it up. And that's all in part thanks to this whole negative gearing fucking bullshit. And so my wife and I were like, no, we don't want to be a part of that at all.
Typical of most things.
Good on you.
Yeah, the real estate agent looked at us like as if we had a second head growing out of our shoulders because we turned it down. And it's, you know, yeah, God forbid that we're actually going to fucking do something on our morals.
Morals? Morals?
Yeah.
What sort of talk is that?
No one gets that.
Real estate agents are not going to understand morals.
Morals and ethics in real estate agents, they don't belong in the same sentence. Other than
they
to
really
say
don't.
they have no morals or ethics.
No.
There you go. That's the only way that go in a sentence with them.
I completely agree with you. It's another friend of mine, he just sold the place that he was in to move into a bigger place, and you got to give my friend credit on this one. He saved up the money for the down deposit by himself. When he wasn't living with his parents and all of that sort of stuff. He worked his ass off to get to where he is. But when he sold the place that he was in to move into this new place, again, the real estate agents were all contacting him and being like, so negative gearing, hey, that's a thing. How do you feel about negative gearing? And his response was, I don't want to be a part of the machine that stops it from, you know, other people being able to afford to buy their own home and whatnot. And if I sell this place that I've been living in for X amount, I can pay this amount off, and then my mortgage drops to this amount, and all of these, like, it makes more monetary sense and moral sense for me to do it this way. So that's the way that I want to do it. It took, like, he literally had to argue with the real estate agency that that's what he wanted to do. Like, they were trying their level best for the longest of times to change his mind.
Okay. Sorry. I also just wanted to cut in because I'm about to go to bed, but I don't want to disappear until Nettie comes back. I don't want to give her a shock. But Kirsten was saying if anyone wants to vote in the Australian Whiskey Awards, voting closes tomorrow. Archie Rose nominated, all categories. Appreciate the support. And I was about to say where, because when I did a Google search on Australian Whiskey Awards, nothing came up. So their Google game is not strong, but apparently it's just AustralianWhiskeyAwards.com.
I can't vote on those because I don't drink. So
Australian.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have much knowledge to share on that either.
So yeah, you've been hiding on us for a while there. Nobody, everything going all right, mate?
Mostly okay. A couple of weeks ago, I had to go. Very nice. Had to go and see a shrink in the city. Well, it was supposed to be something to do with neuropsychiatry, related to, funny enough, related to these motor tics I suffer.
Right.
I think I would be very charitable saying that it was a complete and total fucking waste of time and an insult to my intelligence to actually have to listen to this fucking asshat, who clearly did not listen to a fucking word I told him. He sent me back a sort of letter, which was clearly a generic list of things to try for anxiety and stuff like that. Did nothing at all about addressing any other things with the motor tic disorder. He's all, hey, you know, do you want to have regular consultations here with me? And I'm going, yeah, I fucking hate coming into the city, so let's not. Especially coming into the city to to be not listened to, yeah, that sounds like an exciting fucking time. Maybe I'll just go outside, find a brick wall, and belt my head repeatedly against it. Oh, I do that involuntarily anyway.
No, it definitely sounds like one of those things. Like when I had to do those fucking horrible job network meetings when the global financial crisis hit, and I had to hook into fucking Newstart or whatever it's called, and like straight away they had me on these job network meetings. So I'd have to go. Yeah, I had to go into like the packed suburbs that I fucking hate going into at the best of times, to be treated like something akin to like mud on the bottom of the shoe type thing. Like I was a thing in the road. Like I wasn't something to be helped. Like I was a lazy, good for nothing, didn't want a job guy. So I need to have this person apparently watch over my shoulder to make sure that I'm actually applying for these jobs, and have them tell me that I'm not being serious about trying to find a job because I didn't want to apply for a job, say, as a neurosurgeon, because oddly enough, I don't have those qualifications. You know, and the other jobs out there that are like, you know, must have this certification and this amount of time of experience. And they're like, apply for it. And I'm like, I don't have any of those fucking qualifications. Why would I apply for this job? Just apply for it anyway.
And this is why there have been a lot of employer groups who've been saying, hey, government, stop pushing the unemployed around or I'll smack you in the dick, because you're actually costing us fuck tons of money, forcing people to apply for jobs they know they can't get, and wasting our time having to process the applications.
And as somebody that's worked in companies, I know for a fact as well, if your job application comes in from a job network agency, they immediately chuck it in the trash. They don't even look at it.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to bed because Nettie's back now, so I get to say good night.
Good night, Angry. Good night, everybody.
The AustralianWhiskeyAwards.com, because as I found out, if you just put AustralianWhiskeyAwards.com, the cheeky buggers, it redirects to the World Whiskey Awards website. So that's cheeky.
Buggers.
But anyway, you'll look after yourself.
Okay.
All things being equal, we'll be back tomorrow night. I might already have a few drinks under my belt because I'm meeting some work people earlier in the afternoon. So we'll see how that goes. But have a good night today, everyone. See you all later.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.